Hi everyone, and welcome to the next instalment of the Futures Research Association project Conversations with Researchers. My name is Rena MacLeod, and today I'm talking with University of Southern Queensland researcher Kerrie-Anne Hammermeister. Kerrie-Anne has very recently participated in a rigorous 3-minute thesis showcase of PhD scholarship, and Kerrie-Anne's research is in the very important area of women's leadership. So today in our conversation, not only are we going to be discussing aspects of her work, but we're going to be talking about the benefits and challenges of the 3-minute thesis genre itself. So we hope very much that there will be some very valuable insights for you to take away for your own academic journey as well. So before we move on to our conversation with Kerrie-Anne, I invite you to view her 3-minute thesis presentation video.
You may be wondering about the significance of metaphors. Well, we use about 6 metaphors a minute, either consciously or unconsciously. And metaphors are powerful because they can change our beliefs, attitudes, and our actions. So my research seeks to turn women's leadership metaphors upside down, particularly women in non-government organisations, NGOs. So did you know that women make up about 70% of the NGO workforce? However, men hold about 70% of the leadership roles. And this was my experience when I worked in the sector for 10 years. And it certainly didn't inspire me to seriously think about senior leadership roles. And I'm reminded here of the quote, "If you can't see it, you can't be it." So my research is about empowering women in NGOs. How am I going to do this? Well, I'm taking a futures approach. And a futures approach is not about predicting the future, rather influencing the future. And one of the ways we can influence the future is to consciously use metaphors. You may be wondering about the connection between women's leadership and metaphors. Well, there are about 30 metaphors that describe the barriers that women experience progressing leadership roles. And this is the case for women in Western and non-Western countries. You may be familiar with some of these on the screen. Glass ceiling, sticky floor, concrete ceiling. So far in my research, I've run a workshop as a pilot project. And I provided the women tools to create a personal leadership metaphor. And what I found was when women were given the opportunity, they chose to create nature-inspired metaphors. And so from here, I'll be using my research to create a package of workshops for women leaders in NGOs. And something I've found as interesting so far is that when women leaders in non-Western countries were given the opportunity, they also chose to create nature-inspired metaphors. So to sum up, publishing my results will highlight how Australian women describe their leadership through metaphors, and running more workshops will empower women and influence the future of women by turning negative leadership metaphors upside down.
So Kerrie-Anne, congratulations on this achievement. Personally, I find your presentation video for many reasons a really impressive delivery of your research project. Could you tell us a little bit more about the context and what actually led you to do the 3-minute thesis in the first place?
Thanks, Rena. Well, I completed my Masters of Business Research in 2021. In the same year, I entered the PhD program. So when I was looking at entering the PhD program, I was really focused on looking for opportunities along the way while I'm completing my doctoral studies to develop professionally. And for me, I think the 3MT was part of that decision making.
Yeah. Oh, terrific. And I'm thinking it's a big decision to make, taking on the challenge of the 3-minute thesis. So my understanding of it is that it's a very rigid and rigorous genre to have to participate in. Could you tell us a little bit about the rules around it as you experience them?
Yeah, some of the parameters around the competition. Yeah, sure. It was, well, you have to have completed your confirmation of candidature, and your video presentation needs to be in one take in 3 minutes, not over. And you can do a little bit of trimming with your video, but no editing with your video. And the other thing is that you can only have one image within your presentation. So that's quite a challenge to find one image that represents and supports, enhances your presentation.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. And I'm thinking with presentations, PowerPoint presentations, images are so important. And here you can only choose the one. I really liked your choice in the image being a collection of words. I thought different words will resonate with different people in the audience in different ways. So I thought that was really masterful decision making there, Kerrie-Anne. But I'm thinking, I bet it was a lot of think time probably went into making the decision to choose that and assemble that as your image. Could you tell us a little bit about that decision-making process?
Yeah, absolutely. And it was quite the challenge, Rena, to settle on one image because women's leadership and the metaphors, it's a global issue. So that was really quite challenging to find an image that might represent a global issue of women's leadership and the negative metaphors. So because I was across the literature, I was really familiar with all the metaphors that describe the barriers women experience. So I ended up settling on using a word cloud and including all of those words in the image.
Oh, yeah, really, I think that's really clever, and for its capacity to resonate really widely. And I think not only for a general audience, though, Kerrie-Anne, I think what you're showcasing to your wider academic audience, including your supervisors, is that you really were and are across the breadth of literature, that relates to your area of research. So, yeah, really, really masterful decision making there, I think. So it's clear from the quality of the presentation that a lot of time has clearly gone into preparing the script and the video recording itself. And I'm imagining that that was no easy feat either to bring those things together. So could you say a little bit about some of the challenges that you faced?
Yeah, there were quite the number of challenges, Rena. And I suppose the first one was really around, creating the content to fit into a 3-minute presentation. Because if you were to read out your thesis as a whole, it would take 9 hours. So you can see there that, it's 3 minutes versus 9 hours. So there's really a selection process that you need to consider when you're doing your presentation. So, and I think memorizing the script was quite the challenge. We were encouraged to memorize as much as we could to keep it as natural, the delivery. And so what I found was the best for me was I broke all the parts of the content into small chunks and just tried to memorize those along the way. And also finding the right lighting and the sound was also quite a challenge as well. And I tried numerous locations around my house, setting up a mini studio here, there, and everywhere. But what I ended up settling on and found was the best was I purchased a webcam. And what I found was this gave me better lighting and better sound. So, and the other thing was I needed to take dozens of recordings to get my script right within the 3 minutes and everything like that. So the challenge there was I did probably with those dozen takes, I had multiple takes within those recordings. So I really had to embrace and laugh along the way at the many bloopers that I had throughout the project.
I can well imagine. Look, there's just loads of pearls of wisdom in this that I'm hearing in your responses, Kerrie-Anne, and I do really appreciate the humour and joy and laughter, along with, you know, really robust aspect of academia going on. So that's really delightful. I really like that you invested in good technology such as the camera to really showcase yourself in the best light as well. And I'm thinking, no doubt you're using that for your other wider professional Zoom conversations, given so much of our interactions are online these days. So I think that's a wonderful thing, to invest in good technology to put your best self forward in that capacity as well. And yeah, gosh, learning a script by heart about your own research, I think that's so rich. What a rich process for really embodying the content of your research, and then in a capacity where you can share it with a general non-specialized audience. So to me, that's a really high skill to be able to do, because a PhD journey is usually going deep into the language and jargon of the area that you're researching on, and then to be able to come out the other side and actually share that with a non-specialized audience is really a feat. It's really an accomplishment. So I hear those processes hard at work in the 3-minute thesis genre, and what you achieved as well. So yeah, extraordinary. So Kerrie-Anne, I feel like I already know the answer to this question, but I shall ask it anyway. Do you think the process was worth it?
Well, when I asked myself the question, would I do it again? The answer was yes, because I think there were so many benefits outweighed the challenges. So I think, you know, it really helped me to sharpen my thinking around the methodology, the benefits, and also the contributions that would come from selecting that methodology. And because my research is focused on women and leadership, it really did confirm the importance of the methodology, because there's so many of the negative metaphors that describe barriers that women experience progressing leadership roles. And I think using a futures methodology is a great way to disrupt the negative metaphors, and an important way to empower women in women leadership roles. And I also found it helped to raise my profile as a researcher with different networks. So it was a great way to share my research with a broad audience. And I think it also built confidence along the way, because I was gaining new skills along the way throughout the project. So I really came out more confident at the end of the project.
And priceless. That's a priceless gold at the end of these things, isn't it? Because I think, gosh, it does take courage. It takes courage and tenacity and drive to do those sorts of things, and the payoff is then the confidence that can come from it at the end. So yeah, that's really wonderful. So Kerrie-Anne, what I hear in your responses is a really deep appreciation for how doing multiple projects alongside of, but that also relate to your own PhD research, really helps bolster your research itself and also academic joy in the process. So I'm wondering from here, what now? Do you have other affiliated projects that you're looking to do and will continue working on to support your research?
Well, I decided to do my thesis by publication this time. So at the moment, I'm working on a SLR. So that's a systematic literature review. So that's underway as we speak. And I also look for university symposiums as a great way to share your research and share with other people their research. And it's a great way to develop skills. And I'm looking at conferences for next year, as I see this could be another way to develop professionally and also raise my profile within the community, in the research community.
Yeah, terrific. Oh, conferences and symposiums, gosh, they're another great place to build confidence, aren't they? And to garner, useful feedback and build those academic networks as well. Yeah, terrific, Kerrie-Anne. And I'm wondering, given the nature of your research, are you also looking to already bridge that into the wider community?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking to run more workshop with women leaders. So to promote women's leadership and empower women, I have had the opportunity to work across multiple research projects, which have been really valuable experience. It's given me grounded experience in how research works within the higher education system. And currently, I'm also applying for a board position with Triple R Women. So that organisation is Queensland focused for regional, remote and rural women. And I see this as a great way that I can give back to community and also develop professionally as a leader.
Oh, yeah, amazing. What I hear in this is that you are already thinking about your post PhD career pathways as well. But not only that, like actually doing this work in the community already can also feed back into your research project too. So yeah, wonderful modeling here, Kerrie-Anne, of how you can really shape your own academic journey, how you want it to be. And what you've modeled here is a real vibrant selection of side projects and possibilities to explore. So thank you for your insights here, Kerrie. And I'm thinking as we bring our conversation to a close here, is there any last minute things that you would also like to share before we wrap up?
Well, Rena, I really think I'd love to encourage people to really think about what opportunities are there for themselves while they're completing their PhD or their postdoctoral studies. And also something else I think is really valuable is to update your CV regularly throughout your postdoctoral studies, as I think this is a fantastic way to give yourself a progress report along the way and see where you are within your journey. And it really does, it's really helpful.
Yeah. Oh, I totally resonate with that, Kerrie-Anne. I think it's such an interesting process to see yourself evolve on paper before your eyes, you know, as you transition probably from out of one career and then into another career. And in my own experience, it's been really interesting to identify gaps that I would like to fill, and then that shapes what sort of opportunities I start to look out for. So yeah, it's a really interesting process seeing that evolution on paper via CV. So look, thanks very much for your insights today, Kerrie-Anne. They've just been really exceptional. And I especially value your encouragement to others to think really broadly about how they can enrich their own academic journeys through opportunities like the 3-minute thesis genre. So I wish you really well in the next phase of your ventures. And I hope down the track we can regroup and hear where you're up to and what the new learnings are out of those experiences. And also thank you to our viewers for your support of the Futures Research Association, Conversations with Researchers, and we look forward to you being with us next time.